Okay, I'm gonna do my glazing now. I've changed my mind a million times, but I think I'm gonna do a texture wash first and then do the white over it. Pretty sure the black will show through the white, and that will be less difficult than it will be to try to control the black over the white. I don't know. So anyway, that's my goal. I got a little bit of water in here. Not a lot. Just, you can't even see that, like teeny bit of water. And I'm gonna just kind of make my black underglaze just a little bit watered down, not a lot. I just want it to flow into the cracks a little bit better than it would be if it was at full thickness. I was going to make it a brown, but I figure I'm going to put the white over it this time, so I'm going to just go with the black. It's going to be fine. Or we're going to see what it's going to be like. We gonna find out. So I have this kind of watery black. I have my little woofer here, and I'm gonna just try to let that black go into the cracks. And then I'm gonna sponge it off the surface once it dries. So I'm just letting it kind of get into the texture marks and into the creases that I want it to be in. I'm not gonna try to do creases. I'm going to use some black for the eyes, but I'm going to do solid black. I want those to be dark, real dark. So I'm going to come back and paint those separately with unwatered down glaze. Trying to get it into the cracks. If you can see closer, it kind of, if you can see closer, it kind of pools into the cracks, and that's what I want it to do, because I'm gonna wipe it back off the surface once it dries to the touch. I'm gonna try to sponge it off, but it might be that I scrape it off. I'll have to see. I'll have to see what works best. Usually you do this like you'll biscuit and then you'll fire it with the white on and then put the black on and then fire it again. But I'm trying to, so usually there's a really clear way of why you do it last. You would put the white on, you would fire it, you would put the black wash on, wipe it off its surface, because that would, once it's fired, it won't wipe off the white. But because I'm doing once fire, or I'm, like you guys can't, like, it's not practical for you to drop it off, do glaze, come back, pick it up, do glaze, pick it, like, that's just not in our cards right now. I'm trying to, like, modify this so that I mean, typically this would not be done like this, but I think I'm going to have okay success and in my little modified plan. And if it fails, I'll know better. It won't fail. It'll be fine. It's going to be just fine. Okay, so now I'm gonna let that kind of dry. And while I'm letting that dry, I'm gonna get a narrower brush and paint the eyes black because I really want those eyes to be black, black, black. Do I have one a brush? That's not a brush. That's not a brush. Okay, well, I'm just gonna. Oh, that's not the right back. I'll be right back. Oh, yeah, you need no more food today. Fine. Now I'm gonna. I got the little pointy brush to do the eye, so I can do some details. And I'm gonna just paint the eyes black, and then I'll put a white dot on them when I'm done, so they have like a little glimmer of. These I'm gonna do 3 coats. I want my eyes black, 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 black. You can make yours any color you want. But me, I'm gonna be black. Okay, I gotta do the feet too, so, and the tail. I really still hate this tail. Whatever, I'm gonna use this. I didn't make another tail, so it is what it is. I'm gonna just put a wash along the little feet so that in the cracks of the feet, there's some black to give it definition, just like between the toes and stuff. Then I'll wipe it off and leave the black like in between the crickety cracks. I don't know about this tail. I don't even know. Well, we got a tail. We might as well just see what happens. You know, like maybe we use the tail. Maybe we leave it off. Make that decision at the end. Okay. Dog turd anyway. Okay, now I'm going to attempt to just sort of scrape off the surface and leave the black behind. I'm going to try a sponge. A sponge works. It's a little messy. Sponge works. The other way you could do it is scrape off the surface with just your metal rib. It's actually I want it to be a little bit drier. That's fine. So essentially I'm inlaying the color. And I'm just pulling it off the surface. Gently. I'm very gently pulling off the surface. And inlaying it into the cracks or the texture marks. And I'm going to put the white over it. I'm going to hope that the black shows through. It should. A little bit anyway. And if it doesn't, then I can always go back and add it on and refire it. But like, again, you could just paint yours. You don't have to do the way I'm doing it. You could just paint it any other color. But I want that texture to show through. That this is just how I'm doing it. I mean, you can paint yours any way you want. Like, have fun. Do it up. You could have a rainbow dog if you wanted to, or koala bear, or whatever you made. I don't know what you mean. Elephant. Dinosaur. But there is no, this is sort of a free, fun project. You can do it any way you like. This is just how I'm doing it. Actually, I could kind of just leave it like that with the black in there. It's kind of cute, just the way it is. But and the clay would be a white clay. Cinco Blanco is white. But I want to have it a little extra white. Personally, but don't have to. So many options. I'm going to use a different tool for those deep, delicate areas. It does work a lot better on when it's a little drier. These ears are a little drier, and it works a lot better. But patience is not always, like, this is leather hard, but it could be, it's like first stage leather hard. It could be a little harder, and might be easier to do the inlay. Typically we do the inlay at school we'll do a slab project where we do inlay, where we do a glaze in the, we make a pattern and then we do a glaze, scrape back the surface, and then I fire it, and then we dip it in a translucent glaze, and then the black line shows through. So, a few continuous ceramics, and we're back in the classroom next year. I'll show you how to do that. Hopefully we're back in the classroom next year. Gosh, I think we will be. Switch to a more delicate tool. I don't know if I'm like doing this whole thing and you're not, it's not even on the camera. Crazy talk, Carrie West. All right, little guy. Ready for the weight. Okay, so you can see I'm gonna scrape back the surface, and the black is now in the texture areas, so I'm gonna put my weight over it. Hope the black shows through. And I think it will. No. Wash out my brush. Don't say that. I didn't really wash it out because that's bad. That's bad. go. White. Just not gonna put on like, I'm not gonna do the whole like 300 coats thing. I'm gonna do like 1 or 2 even coats. I don't want to have brush marks visible, but I don't want to completely cover my black. Although I mean, I don't know if you can see that. I'm covering it, but you can still see it through there, even as I paint this on. Okay, I'm gonna, it's already at 20 minutes, so I'm gonna continue to paint. I'm gonna put on 2 coats, not 2 thin coats. I'm not gonna do the real thick, because doesn't have to be functional and I don't want it to be opaque. And I'll come back and show you what it looks like when I'm done, okay? Okay, I finished. Here's my Lily Bell. She's got little pink ears and some texture that I hope shows through the white. And then her little paws will hang through there, and tail. I don't know about it. Anyway, so she's done. That's it. All done. Ready for firing. Well, it has to dry, but it's ready for firing. Just a reminder, make sure you have holes and everything. And I plan on, so you know, you don't want your feet to come exactly together like this. So I plan on putting a knot. Oops, you can't see that. I plan on putting a big fat knot between them to hold them sort of apart when I string the bell up. But you could also make a bead that sits between here, like a ceramic bead that has a hole through it that you put it in between there to hold the feet apart. You don't want them next to each other like that. You want them to be a little bit apart when you hold them. I'm planning on putting a knot in my string and seeing how that works. I'm not sure it's going to work 100%. You could make a bead, or you could just like string a bead in there once you get ready, if you have like beads in your house or whatever. You don't have to worry about glazing all over it. You could glaze the whole thing. Under glaze gets a little tacky when it's fired, but it won't really stick to the shelf, or I will make sure that it is supported in a way that won't make it stick to the shelf. And that's it. Project done. Boop, boop. Take pictures.